Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to all of you who have joined us today to celebrate the International Girls in ICT. Today, we have made this a part of the ICTs and Youth track, highlighting the focus of and the need for girls to get into STEM, science and technology, and to take ICTs as a career option and for their future growth. So, as you all are still signing up, we are going to play a short video so that we give you an opportunity to sign in and join us in full force. So Anastasia, could you please play the video?
The World Summit on the Information Society 2021 has begun and is off to an exciting start, having already hosted several workshops and sessions since the forum's launch in January, as well as receiving a record number of submissions for the WSIS prizes, with 1,270 projects submitted. As the forum progresses, we encourage stakeholders to keep an eye out on our interactive agenda for announcements about exciting workshops and our various ICT for Development related special tracks, many of which have already been inaugurated successfully, such as the ICTs and Gender Mainstreaming track, the ICTs for Wellbeing and Happiness track, the ICTs and Accessibility for Persons with Disabilities and Specific Needs track, as well as the ICT and Older Persons track, and the Cybersecurity track. In addition, we're pleased to have opened our high-level track on March 22nd, which featured the appointment of the 2021 WSIS Forum Chairman. The high-level policy sessions featured during the high-level track are moderated by high-level track facilitators nominated by the WSIS stakeholders during the open consultation process. These sessions will gather over 100 high-ranking officials of the WSIS stakeholder community, with 35 ministers, deputies, and ambassadors, and more than 30 heads of regulatory bodies, private sector, civil society, academia, and the technical community. Other exciting tracks will be opening soon, all of which you can find more information about on our interactive agenda and website. In addition to these exciting tracks, building on the title of this year's forum, ICTs for Inclusive, Resilient, and Sustainable Societies and Economies, we're hosting a series of related workshops showcasing the work of our stakeholders, including our series of bi-weekly workshops which demonstrate how our stakeholders use ICTs to respond to the coronavirus pandemic. The work of our stakeholders is also displayed on our virtual exhibition space that was inaugurated on March 15th. Various other networking and social events will also be integrated into the forum, with meet and greet opportunities and frequent social media posts and engagements, as well as engagements during internationally recognized UN days and weeks. In addition, with more than 1,000 registered participants, the Aging Better with ICTs Hackathon is still live. Hackers had the opportunity to meet with experts in the field of ICTs and aging during the 3 mentorship sessions featured. Submission phase will end on the 18th of April. Stay tuned for announcements of the 4 winners on May 17th during the final week of the 2021 WSIS Forum. In addition to this exciting hackathon, we're pleased to announce that the WSIS Forum special track on ICTs and older persons will be initiating a special prize this year entitled the WSIS Healthy Aging Innovation Prize, with more information available on our website. We look forward to your participation and thank stakeholders for their contribution in shaping this year's WSIS Forum with commitment and ongoing support. We received more than 500 inputs and suggestions from stakeholders worldwide to shape the agenda and program of the 2021 WSIS Forum during virtual discussions and direct official submissions to the open consultation process. We are delighted to see well-balanced contributions in terms of geographical location, gender balance, and stakeholder type, which has shown the positive commitment towards the WSIS process and the strengthening of the WSIS implementation of activities to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. We would also like to extend a warm thank you to our partners, without whom this forum would not be possible. Thank you, and we look forward to a successful 2021 WSIS Forum.
Thank you and welcome once again. Today we have a great panel with us of women of all ages who have accomplished a lot in the area of ICTs, and they are actually working in the area of ICTs to make, some of us are working in international organizations, others have set up their own businesses as entrepreneurs in the private sector, in the civil society, and also we have some students with us who have made, actually made timely innovations innovations even during COVID. So welcome, and without any further delay, I'd like to invite Miss May Lin. May, as a young girl, you have studied mathematics, finance, and you are a girl in ICT, and you've achieved a lot in the area of technology. You are one of the mentors that we always look up to in this area. So May, please share your story with us, how you dreamt about working in this area, and you actually achieved so much. So over to you, May. Please share the story with us and inspire the young girls who are joining us today.
Thank you, Gitanjali. I'm going to talk in 3 sections: past, present, and future. In the past, I had a dream as a 14-year-old girl that digital technology would change the world, and I wanted to make sure that it would make families happier and that people could flourish. So I ended up focusing on that dream, and despite all of the setbacks, was able to become what is now known as the godmother of CRM, customer relationship management. That was possible for me because I had the dream at an early age, and I just stuck with it. At the time, it was a good call on my part. Now, at the present, I want to bring you all to the good call that WSIS offers for all young girls. This is the time of the greatest opportunity for ICT in your generation and perhaps for the next 100 years. Every country is going to be transformed. It's triggered by COVID, but people have seen in their daily lives how digital technology allows people to continue to work and meet and talk and play and keep connected to their friends. This opportunity is one that is made for young girls, because in the traditional areas, there are so many men and they keep the doors pretty tightly monitored to have more men come in. And even though they want to bring in women, they say there aren't women in the pipeline to work on this. For ICT post-COVID, there's no pipeline. Everybody's equal. Men have ideas, women have ideas, boys have ideas, girls have ideas. Your ideas can make a big difference in the future. And let me talk about the future now. The future that I want to see is a future fueled by friendship. And to some degree, it is women who understand how important that is. We can't have a future fueled by profit, where a company wants to get the most work out of everyone, no matter the costs on the family life or the costs on the individual in terms of mental strain and stress. If we want a world in which people can flourish, in which we can bring the next generation in and not feel guilty about bringing them into a frightening place where they may not have a good future, then we have to get together and make that world. And there has never been a chance in all of humanity to make the world that we want to see, a world of flourishing, because digital technology today can touch every aspect of everyone's life. But we don't want it to touch people's lives just to make money for a few people. We want digital technology to allow people, anyone, anywhere, to participate fully, to realize their dreams. All of that is possible now, but it depends on you deciding that you want to make a difference. So young girls, step up. Thank you, Gitanjali.
Thank you, Maylin, and thanks a lot for being a role model for all of us and for motivating us from time to time to make sure that we make a difference. And the next speaker actually is Ms. Dhwani Trivedi, who has been striving to do so. She is a student of electronics, and she actually innovated infrared thermal camera and a scanner, which she's going to talk about during COVID. when COVID actually just started last year, and actually to make a difference, to use her skills in technology to contribute to society. So over to you, Dhwani. Can you please share some of what was involved, what motivated you to do this, and how is it being used just now?
Right. So I'll share a little bit of how my journey is. So hello everybody, my name is Dhwani Trivedi. I'm currently in my final semester pursuing my bachelor's degree in electronics and communication from BVM Engineering College. So it is an honor for me to be a part of this amazing panel on an amazing day, which is Girls in ICT Day. So, since childhood, I have been very inquisitive about electronics. Seeing my father, who is a professor in electronics and communication as well, I saw him for 4 years doing his PhD in brainwave communication and developing various projects in electronics as well. So, watching him all the time sort of motivated me to pursue my career in ICT as well. I'm really lucky enough and fortunate enough to, have parents like this who are in the same field. Also, when in the beginning of my career, especially in the first year of my college, I was lucky enough that I got a chance to talk at UNESCO's Mobile Learning Week in 2018 in artificial intelligence and in education and ethics. That was the topic which I talked about. It was because of ITU and UNESCO that helped me to go there and present my ideas there. So, going there, I met a lot of people. I met amazing and powerful women who are into technology, and that sort of really motivated me that this ICT is a vast career, a vast field, and there are endless amount of opportunities there. So I have been participating in this event for 3 years, the Girls in ICT Day, and I saw all these girls and women in STEM who are showcasing their amazing projects, amazing talents, and in technology, and that sort of motivated me and sort of ignited an interest that I should be developing some sort of innovations that should be helpful for the society and for social good. So I have been very much interested in ICT and artificial intelligence, and I have developed some projects such as I will be talking about that as well. One of them is an AI enabled primary diagnosis tool for using tongue image capture and for generating prescription. So this was something which was focused on United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3, where can be used at places where people do not have enough access or no access to any healthcare facilities. So, and something like that. So, and all these innovations were also featured at UNESCO's conferences such as Mobile Learning Week in 2020. It got postponed, however. UNESCO's ICT for D Chair non-conference, which was held last year, UNESCO MGIP Tech conferences. My posters were presented. And so, all these events were really helpful, and they really supported and gave me a platform to, showcase my projects. And, I felt very much motivated that, I am getting such support from these international organizations where my project is being featured and I can showcase. And so this is how I have been, motivated and very much interested to develop more and more. So and the thing is that I became aware about all these opportunities and, activities that were ongoing through online platforms. So, which sort of proves the point of today's topic, which is Connected Girls for Brighter Future, that we should be encouraging more and more girls and women in tech, small young girls to access online platforms and digital devices for education. And we should constantly help and support the young girls who want to pursue this field. So I would like to share a small story if I am not running short on time. So there is, because of the pandemic situation, everybody was at home. So there is a neighbor of ours who has a small daughter. She's 7 years old, and she always comes at my place. And whenever she sees me, that I'm using my laptop or my phone, she gets really interested and just know what this device is. So I started teaching her about what computers are, how it can be used. And so she gets really interested and excited after learning it. I know this is not a huge huge thing, but these are the small baby steps that can create a huge impact at the long run. And this sort of can be used for motivating girls and women to pursue STEM field, especially in ICT. You know, according to ITU as well, 17% of internet gap, gender gap was observed that over internet use globally. So this is something, if we encourage more and more women and girls in this field to access this online education platforms, then the problems that we have currently, which is gender equality, digital literacy, digital divide, all these problems can be solved. And at last, I would just like to thank all these amazing women who have been a part of my ongoing journey. To name a few of them, Ms. Nandini Chatterjee Singh, Dr. Nandini Chatterjee Singh, she is a cognitive neuroscientist at UNESCO MGIP in New Delhi. Dr. Helen Crompton, she is a professor at Old Dominion University in the United States. Dr. Kaushika Patel, she is an electronics professor in my electronics department in my college. So, all these amazing women and powerful women have motivated me and supported me throughout my career. And so this is why I sort of feel that ICT is a vast field. There are endless amount of opportunities, and we are currently living in a world where we can't live without ICT. So it is a very vast field, and it can be really helpful for girls to pursue this field. And I constantly encourage girls in my college to sort of participate in these events, hackathons, so that they can be aware about all these events ongoing. So yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Dhwani. Actually, you are one of the great examples of what this whole thing is about, the celebration of the ICT and Girls Day. You rightly pointed out that you need the right mentors, your parents were always there to provide you with mentorship, and then you need the right opportunities. And it's really good that you took all those opportunities, So a really great example. And your principal is also here, Dr. Indrajit Patel, who's saying that he feels very proud of you today. So thank you very much, Dhwani. I'll move on now to Dinara, who is joining us from Kazakhstan. Dinara actually, set up a very, very successful ICT and gender track at the WSIS Forum, which happened last few months. And it was really successful, where we heard from many, many women and men all around the world, who are working towards ensuring that we leave an equal world for the next generation. It is our responsibility to ensure that the next generation of men and women feel equal, So over to you, Dinara. Please share some of the outcomes of the gender track, and also invite the next speaker, please.
Thank you very much, Gitanjali. Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's a great privilege to be talking to you. And yes, we had this ICTs and gender mainstreaming special track at the WSIS Forum 2021. And I can share the link with you later, and you can see all the amazing initiatives, all the amazing amazing plans and amazing works that are being done and have been done that were tackled during this track. And I met an amazing person at one of these workshops that I organized, and she is Ms. Janet Chapman from Tanzania. She's our next speaker. She's a chair of Tanzania Development Trust and the founder of Crowd2Map. And one of the projects that she's working on is Digital Champions Project in Serengeti, which helps empower the first-time smartphone users to map their communities and protect girls and young women from female genital mutilation. So without further ado, I would like to pose my question to Janet. Please share with us from your experience, how is this project contributing to young women and girls empowerment in the ICT's domain? Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me to speak about our project. And I hope you can, I've just got a few slides, so I hope you can see those. So I'm the chair of Tanzania Development Trust, which is a volunteer-run charity that's been supporting grassroots organisations in Tanzania for 45 years. And one of our main priorities is girls' education. So in addition to the Digital Champions project, we support a lot of different government secondary schools, as you can see here. And typically, we really try to promote access to ICT because we do see that it is a huge opportunity for everybody. However, the reality on the ground is very, very different. So in schools like this, generally there is no electricity, there is no running water. Girls have never had a device such as a smartphone or a laptop and so on. So it's very, very difficult. Connectivity is very poor. So we are trying with very simple equipment such as Raspberry Pi computers and donated tablets to show girls like this that some of the opportunities such as Khan Academy, Wikipedia, to access offline. Because typically, even if they have ICT on the curriculum, which sometimes they do, what it would actually mean is a teacher would stand at the blackboard and they would draw a picture of a keyboard and people would copy it into their exercise books, never seeing a keyboard, never seeing a computer, let alone actually using one. So we're really trying to encourage girls wherever possible to actually use equipment. So one of the issues in rural Tanzania is that it's very poorly mapped. So, and this is really challenging for many reasons. For example, if a school has built a hostel, girls are walking up to 4 hours back and forwards from school. But the school has no map showing where the villages are, so it's difficult for them to prioritise who should get the hostel places and so on. So 5.5 years ago, I started this project called Crowd to Map, which is a volunteer-run project. Anyone who has an internet access can get involved, so please do help us. So we're mapping rural Tanzania into OpenStreetMap for community development, navigation, but also to help FGM activists, so activists campaigning against female genital mutilation, which is a big problem in some areas. So we're training people to map those areas so that activists and the police can more easily find the girls at risk. So we've now got a network of digital champions, some of whom you can see here. So these were women who'd never used a smartphone before, never been online. So we trained them how to use a smartphone and how to map their village, and also how to report girls at risk via WhatsApp groups and an offline form called Open Data Kit. So now these women are now empowered to start to use some of the digital tools that they've passed them by in the past. And when in Tanzania there is a FGM cutting season, and during those times in particular, girls will often be cut in a group in the middle of the night. So people like the digital champions can phone the police and the FGM activists and saying there's girls about to be cut at this place. Before they had maps, it was very difficult for activists and the police to find them. But now with these maps, it's much, much easier. But also these women are learning digital skills. They live in remote villages, but now they have some connection to people outside those villages via WhatsApp groups and downloaded content and so on. So here you can see a group in the village with looking at a map of their village for the first time and working out what still needs to be added. So better maps have helped over 3,000 girls avoid being subjected to FGM. And every year in the cutting season, girls do bleed to death and die tragically. So fewer girls being cut has also coincided with a reduced death rate as well. So, as I said, this is a project that anyone with an internet connection can get involved with. So if you're at all interested, please do check us out. That's my contact. Our website is Tanzania Development Trust, and the mapping project is Proud to Map. So please do help us if you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet, and thank you for being such an inspiration and for doing such wonderful work. As you have shown clearly that ICTs are not only empowering women, but actually in some cases they can also be life-saving. So thank you so much, Janet. We will make sure we'll follow up with you and see how the WISIS gender group could also work together with you on this project. So thank you very much, Dinara and Janet. Moving on to Karen, who will be inviting Teresa and Catherine. Over to you, Karen.
Thank you, Gitanjali, and thank you, everyone. I am grateful and honored to be part of this special session to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Girls in ICT Day. As a young woman, being able to see other women exponentially represented in all spheres of society was a significant driver of my ambitions. And with technology playing a role in all kinds of careers, learning tech skills early on can set girls up for independence and better opportunities. As a fellow WISIS team member, we work hard to provide a platform for everyone to share their knowledge and inspirational stories, and to encourage young people across the world to follow their dreams. And technologies are the most effective tools for making a change in the 21st century. Our next speaker is Catherine Hermans, the Strategy Director of Global Changemakers, an international youth organization and global pioneer in supporting youth-led sustainable development. Catherine, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
Could you tell us a little bit about your background and what your organization does? And also share from your experience some advice for young girls around the world trying to choose a career path.
It's a big question. Well, thank you for having me. It's such an important topic. So I'm really honored to say something about it. So I started an organization in 2006, which is called Global Changemakers, as you already said. And yeah, Karen, I couldn't agree more when you're talking about making your dreams come true. That's exactly what we're all about. So we gather young people from all over the world. They come to us with their ideas on how they can make a change in their community, and we then support them. And so, long story made short, we support them so that they can actually implement their own projects. And since 2007, we've supported over 400 projects all over the world. And these projects really range from kayaks made out of plastic bottles to measure the water quality, but also to educate people about sustainability. We have STEM in a Box, which is a project that's run in several countries, which is all about teaching STEM to girls and so they get them involved in this, to women empowerment projects and anything and everything in between. So the projects that the young people come up with, that's completely their idea, it's completely their passion, and we then help them to implement them. And how do we help them to implement them? And this actually is also the answer to your question about how we can support girls. We support them by first of all, we do everything in collaboration with the young people. We don't have the idea that we can make decisions on their behalf, but we ask them what they need and then we support them. So that's our mission, and that's our strategy in supporting young people, and specifically girls, of course. And we support them by giving them training, giving them financial support. But one of our main programs is also a mentoring program. So we connect people to each other. And I think this would be my core advice for today, that everybody who has a dream or is interested in any field, that they find someone who's a few steps ahead of them, so that you can get the mentoring and the support and the inspiration, but the very concrete advice that you might need to get a step further. So that would be my advice on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine, for all the great work that you do to support and inspire youth and to enhance their capacity to not only make a difference, but also develop their own skills and to expose them to new opportunities. Our next speaker is Dr. Teresa Caradosto from the Open University, Portugal. With a PhD in didactics and educational technology, you focus your research on open education and ICT in educational contexts. Could you tell us what made you follow this line of work? What were your sources of inspiration? And from your experience, what tips would you give to young girls watching us today to encourage them to consider a career in STEM and to embrace ICTs as a catalyst for change?
Thank you. A warm greeting to all. Thank you for the invitation. It's really an honor to be part of this great panel with such inspirational projects and actions. I will pick up on some of the points that the previous colleagues have mentioned. I will start with the dream. You've also mentioned that, Karen. And I will speak of my experience as a girl and now woman, a mother of 2 daughters. So going back to my days as a young girl, I would say that my inspiration probably were my parents, my mother and my father, who gave me the opportunity to further develop my natural desire for curiosity, for looking and searching to get to know better and to be, like the Greek philosopher, citizen of the world. And that for sure ICT can foster. And so I remember my big summer holidays. I used to go to some short programs provided by the youth institutions here in Portugal. And so I was also eager to search and to learn from all. Nowadays, as a professor at the Open University, ICT allows me to get connected to all my students around the world. For instance, this semester I'm having students from Brazil, Timor, Portugal, of course, and maybe I can state or I can share with you 2 short stories. For instance, I was a supervisor in a master degree of a teacher, a woman teacher, working in the Azores archipel, and she lives in a very, very small, I think it's the tiniest island of the Azores. And for instance, so you can imagine the isolation if there were no ICTs. There is not a bookshop in there. There is not a service where she could print her master thesis. And so the Open University has helped us improve and progress with her training. And I think that's a really important aspect that the ICT enables us to look forward and search further for our training. Another important thing that Catherine just mentioned, the mentoring program. I think it's important to focus and to be willing to learn also, not only meet, talk, play, and pursue our dreams through ICT, but also learn. So as a person, a woman working in the educational field and using ICT and also training in ICT, I would say mentorship is really important because you can have the learning communities. And so people sharing similar interests, similar needs are more willing to really support each other and go to the point. And so this training and then this mentorship brought me back to my days of youth when I was in pen pal program. And so this pen pal be now updated with the ICTs, and there's, for instance, if we are learning foreign languages, we can use a lot of apps. We can be using also the e-tandem, so we can also find a partner. And so there are multiple options, and as Janet just mentioned, unfortunately, we know that the access is not provided yet to all, And so ultimately, that's a thing to look for in the future, and hopefully to warrant this. But of course, there are things that can run offline, as she mentioned as well, Wikipedia, and also the Khan Academy. And so that's how I figure out that that's also the importance of working with open educational resources that are available in those online platforms that can also work and run offline. Maybe this, as Duani said, it's important with regard to the mentorship, the small baby steps that can create and foster a huge but real difference. I will just finalize with another, sharing another story. When I was giving training with ICT education in a course in ICT in education, I had a student, a mother of a young daughter teenager, who was working with the PowerPoint for school activities, school tasks. And the mother was not keen on working, and she had never used PowerPoint. So as I challenge my students to use ICT, she witnessed and she shared with the whole group that it was an amazing task because she could do it with her daughter. So I think we can all be flourishing and looking for this tiny but huge and having a real impact on women's life and making the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Teresa. And I think you highlighted a very important point of distance learning and open learning, because this has been truly empowering for so many young girls and women all over the world. I for sure know that the Indian University of Open Learning and Distance Learning has empowered so many girls to continue their education, because often girls are not sent out of villages to pursue their higher education. So thank you for bringing this important point into the conversation. So thank you to Teresa and Catherine and Karen. We will now move on to Ruth, who will invite Maria, and Kirti could not join us today because they had a power shortage in their area. So these are also some of the challenges of ICTs. Over to Ruth.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm Ruth. I work for the IT and the WISIS team, and it's a pleasure for me to be part of this panel. And it's always very rejuvenating to be surrounded by so many bright women to celebrate the Girls in ICT Day. And so it's nice to be here, but despite virtually, it's very nice to spark the discussion. And now I would like to welcome Ms. Maria Musia. She's the founder of Empowerment Lab. It is a community of young girls who can explore the world of technology by playing with different digital tools in a fun way that would be useful for their personal interests and career exploration. So Ms. Maria, I would like to ask you maybe if you could share with us the activities that you are doing at the Empowerment Lab to equip young girls with the creative digital skills, and how do you mentor and motivate these young girls towards STEM and ICT education and careers? Also, if you could share the tips and advice that you have for the young girls around the world to spark their interest in ICT. Over to you.
Perfect, thank you, Ruth. Hello, everyone. My name is Maria. I'm a founder of a social startup called Empowerment Lab. We are based in Geneva. So basically, we serve as an online tech hub for young girls aged 12 to 18, discover digital skills that goes beyond programming. We organize live instructor-led online courses for girls in the field of data science, game design, multimedia, digital media, digital art, and many other courses. So we organize courses in 3 different languages, English, French, and German. We also have a program of role models, but our role models are actually young female professionals who are helping girls to better understand different career opportunities in the field of technology, but also including what universities to choose, what kind of career field they can select based on their personalities and so on. So in terms of the motivation, how we motivate girls to attend our courses. Basically, we don't talk about skills, we're talking about their personal interest and personalities. And based on that, we invite them to attend our courses and build a project. So, for example, if we talk about web development and HTML programming language, we're inviting them to come over to our course, learn how to communicate their stories, and based on that, create a website to communicate the ideas to the world. So my tip for young, because I studied politics and law myself, so I never had a role model or a mentor, unfortunately. But now I understand the value, because as a social entrepreneur, I have a lot of coaches and mentors, and I would strongly recommend to find a person that you find inspiring and connect. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Also, not only inspiring and connect, but I think many of you touched upon that we have to help each other as well. We have to help each other grow, because all of you right now we can see that you love your job, you love what you're doing, so it's very important for us to love what we are doing, and to encourage and motivate and bring everybody with us, all the girls and boys who are working in this area. So that's a very, very important thing, to connect with everyone and to go along together. So thanks a lot, Maria. I'll now move on to Tala, who will bring in Pauline and Andrea. Over to you, Tala.
Thank you very much, Gitanjali, and thank you for this opportunity. And I'm so delighted to be part of this inspiring panel today. I'm actually a computer and communication engineer myself. I have built and still building my career around information and communication technologies. I worked as a digital transformation project manager for a telecom private sector company, where my work consisted of helping organizations from different sectors, ranging from healthcare, insurance, retail, distribution, in introducing digital processes in the way they work and collaborate among each other every day, but also to create a more end-to-end digital user experience. And I had a shift in my career and joined the United Nations environment. And for 3 years now, I've been working with the World Summit on the Information Society team. And it's really fascinating to be in touch and understand how ICT projects on the ground are really shaping societies with a great impact on social and economic development. And this shift actually in my job was actually easy because I studied STEM, because it enables you to develop cross-sectorial skills like analytical and problem-solving skills that you can use in your day-to-day job. And I use this to raise my day-to-day work challenges. And I'm also, for example, coordinating as part of my activities within the WSIS Forum, the first ever online hackathon. And I'm so proud to see that we have a great number of young girls participating this year. And I'm very happy to see that one of my former colleagues today, Pauline Derrien, who is also an engineer, and in parallel of her daily activities as a health manager at Orange Consulting, she actually is mentoring young girls who would like to pursue studies in STEM. Pauline, can you please talk to us more about this program and how it empowers and encourages girls and young women to consider studies and careers in the growing field of ICTs? Over to you, Pauline.
Thank you, Tala, and very glad to be here with such great women around the table. So I am part of Orange, a big telecommunication group in France and also in other countries. And one of the big stakes for Orange today is to encourage girls to be part of all the STEM jobs in the company. So there are many programs developed internally, and you as an employee, you can participate in that programs, and it's really great to try to help and inspire young girls. So I have had the opportunity to be part of a specific program in a new school in France. It's an in-between between the university track to engineering study or the preparatory classes, which are very French specific to also engineering school. And it was a new program attached to a university for 3 years for young people after high school. And they work for 3 years in project mode, like in the companies, and not in a normal classes that you can have usually. And moreover, from the beginning of the program to the end, so for the 3 years, they have a mentor from a company. So it means that just after high school, they have someone from the professional field who guide them through their study, through their project. They can ask questions. You really build something, a privileged relationship. And I think this is a very good opportunity, and the program is working very well because of that. Because when you are studying STEM, it's very good to go to STEM study, but you are not always connected to the enterprise or the company's world, and this kind of program really helps. So I think it was already an advice given by Maria, but if you can find someone to mentor you, and if you can build as soon as possible a link with the company's world or with the associative world, it is great for your career, and it will help you to develop.
Thank you so much, Pauline, and I'm really happy that in parallel to this, you also are part of the W network in Orange, and you help women break the glass of ceiling glass and achieve managerial positions. Thank you so much for being with us today. Moving now to Andrea Delannoy. Thank you so much for being with us also today. Andrea, in 2017, you have founded Model, an NGO that works to provide women with careers in fields where they are underrepresented. And you work closely with girls to give them a better taste of careers they want to pursue in the future. My question to you is, why is it really important today to have role models and to tackle gender stereotypes in career aspirations for young people, especially young girls? And what message would you give to girls who doubt today when thinking of studying STEM and thinking more of it as a masculine topic? Thank you.
Thank you, Tala, and thank you, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here today on this particular day. It's a particular day because it's International Day of ICT Girls and my youngest daughter's birthday as well. So I have 2 daughters as well. I don't remember which one of you had said you had 2 daughters. So it's a very special day for me, and I'm very happy to share it with all of you here because it is a very important subject. And I have to admit, to share with you something. I want to share with you something. I'm a failed scientist myself. I said fail because I haven't pursued scientific careers. I loved physics. I loved mathematics. I loved chemistry when I was in high school. And I even won a prize back in the days in Romania in chemistry. But I could not picture myself as a scientist at the time because I did not know anyone doing that. So I ended up studying economics and politics, but I'm still a scientist at heart. And the failed scientist in me got really challenged when I moved to Switzerland in 2003, and I realized a very small percentage of women embracing STEM careers. I felt really challenged to the point that I co-founded the association you mentioned, Tala, earlier, Expanding Your Horizons in Geneva. And at the time, I realized I became aware of the power of role models and specifically the consequences for the girls of not being able to see women working in STEM careers as it was for me back in the days. So this lack of role models has direct consequences on the career aspirations and choices of girls, as they cannot project themselves in such jobs, and largely because of gender stereotypes. And I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to make careers tangible for young people in Switzerland, all young people. I just didn't know how and where to start, what to do. A happy encounter I had in 2017 helped me figure it out. I participated into an international survey led by the UK charity Education and Employers, who found that gender stereotypes start to get crystallized as of the age of 6. And that was my aha moment. In January 2018, I founded Model, a Swiss association whose mission is to tackle gender stereotyping in career aspirations of young people. And our first project, Modèle d'Avenir, proposes to primary school teachers to invite into their classroom our female role models to talk to the children about their jobs, their career paths, open their horizons, and show them what the future might look like. As the American activist Marian Wright Edelman said very rightly, you can't be what you can't see. I would encourage all women in ICT STEM careers to role model to the young people around them, and specifically girls, and to young women around who listen to us today. Find role models. It was already said, but I really encourage you, find role models and mentors that can and sponsors that can support you in pursuing your career. We need you, and I welcome all of you. If there is any, the ones that have they live in Switzerland here, I can share more on the chat on how we do it. And please join us, join Model, and let's go to schools in Switzerland, the ones that can physically do so. Soon we'll probably be able to offer virtual sessions, but for the time being, we're in person. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. And I look forward to listening to the most beautiful stories of these people present today.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Pauline and Tala. Andrea, you know, you just made me think that all of us, even if we think for a second, we can really see clearly those role models in our mind who actually motivated us also to do whatever we are doing today. So role models are so important. And like you said, all of us every day should try to motivate any girl or boy who we work with, you know, to achieve whatever they want, that, you know, to have big dreams, because I think all of you have proven that anything you want is achievable. You can achieve whatever you want or you dream of. So any young girls, all of you as well who are with us today, please do follow that, you know, anything you want is achievable. So I'd now like to move on to our colleague, actually, Ibtisam, who is in Morocco right now, and she has studied data science. So Ibtisam, you know, you are our future, and you know, as you see, we organize so many things, but we are always looking for a gender balance, and it's so difficult to find that. You know, you're organizing mayors roundtable, we do not find enough women mayors. The ministerial roundtable, there are not enough women. So it's so important for all you young women to take up leadership roles, you know, in the future. So Ibtisam, can you share with us, you know, what your journey has been till now, you know, and what inspires you to take up a career in STEM? Over to you, Ibtisam.
First of all, thank you, Gitanjali. I'm very honored to be part of this panel of Girls in ICT Day. Well, first of all, I'm going to start with why I chose this path. Well, I chose it because, first of all, I did some research about it after graduating high school. And for me to have a mathematical background helped me a lot too. And that I always love to learn new things, especially when it comes to technology. So yeah, I studied mathematics and computer science, and I found it very challenging and exciting as well. All you need to do is to believe in yourself and keep pushing forward, working on projects, and completing those projects really gives you the confidence to move forward. Afterwards, I headed for data science, in which it allowed me to try like various science methods like machine learning, artificial intelligence, business intelligence. There's a lot of methods. And knowing that this field is growing rapidly, the IT world is very, very large, and it gets larger every day. So you can't keep up with everything at the same time. For that, I advise you, from my personal experience, to choose what you like to do and dig deeper. Any small idea can make a big, big difference. And as we know nowadays, there's always something to think about, a problem that needs a solution. I mean, like the saying of the necessity is the mother of invention. And because like I said earlier, you should only focus on one thing and be good at it rather than do a lot and not master like anything. For the gender gap, I would like to talk about, for example, here in Morocco, girls, I don't know, girls find it probably scary or hard to study computer science or anything. So why is this gender gap? Maybe I personally asked some of my friends, maybe there's no role models, like you said before, and maybe some of them, their answers were like they didn't choose computer science even if they're really good at what they do, because they believe in the stereotypes of what a computer science student is, and that computer science only for like boys and that they understand better, and they don't believe they can do anything out of it when they graduate, and for them to be uncomfortable, really uncomfortable with it. I mean, even if you think you're doing nothing, you're actually doing something, because it's crazy how it fits together. Different subjects from mathematics, philosophy, science, medicine, finance, many more. They're just interconnected and they can change our world incredibly. So yeah, I hope in the future that we see more girls, women in IT fields, because training the next generation of software female engineers is really fascinating. They can really make a difference just because just believe in yourself and support each other, and most important, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes, you touched upon a very right thing. Don't be afraid to ask to ask any question, or actually don't be afraid of anything. That's how you will, achieve your dreams. So I'd now like to move on to Leolan, who's joined us from China. Leolan actually works with the ministry, but is on loan to our team, and she's going to be working with us. So Leolan has, a lot of experience in HR and tech. So what are your observations and views, Leolan, on this trend? Is it improving? Are more girls joining the ICT workforce? Over to you, Leolan.
Thank you, Gitanjali. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for this great opportunity to participate in this special session for celebrating the 10th anniversary of International Girls in ICT Days. My name is Shengluo Lan. I'm from China. Actually, I just joined with this team last month, and I started working remotely. I need to use these ICT applications every day. Although I majored in human resource management, but I think ICT technologies is everywhere. So through these amazing technologies, I can communicate and work with my colleagues who live in different parts of the world. I think because of this pandemic, working remotely may become quite normal. And ICTs can really bring a great convenience to our work. So I think maybe in the long term that the future of work will provide girls better opportunities because it's become more digitalized. So I think everyone, especially girls, should stay really curious about new technologies and keep passion to embrace new changes and make full use of ICTs to help us develop our both academic and professional careers. Actually, before joining this WISIS team, I worked as a human resource manager in a Chinese scientific institution. Some people might think that men are better in STEM fields, while women don't really seem to be as good as men, but it's not true, especially in China. Because over the past decades, the proportion of men and women in the science have been gradually balanced. And in the scientific research institution that I work in, that women account for more than half of the researchers, and there are more than 30% of the department directors are women. And there are all engaging in outstanding scientific researches such as like artificial intelligence, big data, cloud computing, smart city, and other very advanced technologies. Work with these excellent women, and they really show me that when a woman deeply engaged in the field of ICTs, they can still remain a very well work-life balance, and they can take good care of their family and children while working very enthusiastically into these ICT fields. So I think it's really a best time for girls considering ICTs for academic and professional development.
Thank you, Leolan. That sounds like good news. And you're also echoing what Malin was saying in the beginning, that there are many opportunities now and we should make sure we grab these opportunities. So thank you, Leolan. Over to our last speaker, Zoe, who is working in the area of digital entertainment and digital media. She's, Zoe, so what's the trend there? Are many of your classmates girls? Do you get employed easily? What is the trend there, Zoe?
Sure. First of all, I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. Hearing your stories is truly inspiring. I think my route to entering the ICT field is a little different than most, so I'll just start off with a small story. I'd always been interested in ICTs growing up. However, from a young age, I was diagnosed with dyscalculia, which is a mathematical learning disability. So because I had troubles in math and STEM, I often thought that the ICT field was something that would be inaccessible for me, largely due to stereotypes. However, through my studies, I'd taken many film classes, and I'd really developed a passion for film, but specifically editing. And I don't know how many of you have done film editing, but the more advanced you get, you have to really develop digital skills. And I've spent hours behind my computer outside of class just learning how to edit because it was exciting to me. Being behind a computer, learning all these digital skills, it was something that I was passionate about. And because of this, I became increasingly interested in careers that involved more digital literacy and digital marketing as well, because I thought that that was a good combination of digital skills, but also the visual medium of film, which I had grown so passionate about. So that's how I became started in the ICT field. In digital marketing, I still think that there aren't enough women. Even though women may be represented in marketing and media, they often aren't the ones creating the stories, which can lead to stereotypes that aren't necessarily true being projected about women. But my main message I'd want to leave people with today, especially girls who may think that the ICT space isn't for you if you're not great at math or STEM, is just to remind yourself of the vastness of the ICT field, right? There's so many ways you can enter in, and I would have never thought, being dyscalculic, that I would end up in ICTs, but I'll likely end up pursuing some kind of master's degree after this that focuses on digital skills and the role of ICTs in our world. So that's what I'd like to leave it with, and thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. I think you've ended on the right note that, they are so vast, ICT skills, professions, studies, that all girls and boys out there should be encouraged to take up these courses. And I think some of you did say that, we need to make sure, and it's the responsibility of the current generation, that we leave behind a very fair world for the next generations. So thank you very much for joining us today. We had a great session. We heard from people all over the world. All of you are working in different parts of the world: Singapore, India, China, Switzerland, Morocco, Netherlands, France, UK, Lebanon. So we covered like the whole world. So we are all connected today because of technology. So thank you very much, and join us at 4 o'clock for the global celebrations by ITU later on, where we also have some great speakers who will be joining us. Thank you very much, and a huge round of applause for all of you.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.